My name is Emily Topping, and I'm graduating from the School of Journalism and Communication with a degree in journalism. This year's commencement speaker grew up in Grants Pass, Oregon, cheering on the Ducks with his family, before becoming one himself. He attended the University of Oregon in the late 1980s, studying theater, and got his first ever acting role in a campus production. Ty Burrell received 8 consecutive Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, and won twice during the 11-season run of Modern Family, which ended last year. He also won a Screen Actors Guild and Critics' Choice Award for the role. He's not just an admirer, he's a supporter as well. He and his wife are active philanthropists, graciously funding a scholarship in the Department of Theater Arts, as well as many other causes in their home of Salt Lake City. It is my pleasure to introduce your 2021 commencement speaker, Ty Burrell.
Thank you, Emily, and congratulations on your graduation. Thank you to R.G. Maniatis for your help in coordinating this. Thank you, President Schill, for inviting me to be this year's speaker. And finally, thank you to the graduating students of the University of Oregon. I am so honored to speak at your 2021 commencement. So, my entire family absolutely loves the University of Oregon. We're huge fans and we have tons of school pride. We even have our own long, unique tradition here, which is attend the University of Oregon for as long as it would take to get a degree, maybe longer, and then never actually graduate. My dad did it, my older brother did it, my sister did it, I did it, my younger brother did it, even some cousins did it, until finally one cousin actually graduated. I should say, former cousin. He made us look bad. He paid the price. This is all to say, it was a risky choice of President Schill to count on a Burrell's presence at a University of Oregon commencement, but I'm grateful to be here. Right about now, you might be thinking, why did they get this guy to speak at our commencement? Isn't the commencement speaker supposed to dispense some meaningful wisdom that can carry us into the next chapter of our lives? You would be correct. And graduating seniors, I'm truly sorry your dose of wisdom is coming from me. I'm going to do my best. But underclassmen, if you're tuning in, ask for an astronaut. My time at the U of O was defined by 2 very different chapters. Chapter 1 was my first 2 years, during which I partied like a barbarian, put on 35 pounds, and spent all of my student loan money on sandwiches and a scooter. I pushed the boundaries of how little a person can actually do in 2 years. I bravely explored the lowest limits of the GPA scale. Answering the door to the pizza guy was my greatest achievement. Actually, I awarded myself some GPA points for that, which is how I got a 1.3. But the second chapter was completely different. After my dad passed away when I was 21 years old, I came back to the U of O and took a big risk. Before my father passed, he said, "I think you should try acting." Hearing him say that was kind of mind-boggling. We had nobody in our family who was a performer of any kind, and we lived way out in the woods of Oregon. He might as well have said, "I think you should grow another arm." But he was a very talented fine artist and hadn't pursued it. And I know that deep down he wished that he had tried. So when I re-enrolled at the U of O and started my second chapter, I walked over to the theater department and asked if I could take an acting class. Before I knew it, I was standing on a box doing improv. Now, this is most parents' nightmare of what their children are doing in college, but I knew it was what my dad wanted. Standing on that box, I got one laugh. A single laugh, and right then and there, the die was cast. The point of this anecdote is that sometimes one single simple moment can reveal your fate to you. It is also about the fact that I am clearly a sort of desperate, craven laugh golem. But regardless, I had started my second chapter at the University of Oregon. I discovered for the first time in my life that I loved learning. I experienced for the first time as a semi-adult what it was like to get A's on my report cards. And maybe most importantly, I started my life's adventure of being an actor. To avoid getting kicked out of my family, I transferred to Southern Oregon University before I could graduate. But hey, everything comes full circle because today I am receiving my honorary degree from the University of Oregon. What? What? I'm not getting the degree. Cool. Oh, that's cool. 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 No, it's cool. It is cool. It's cool. Cool. I'm saying it's cool because it's cool. It's cool. Okay. Where were we? I did gain some wisdom from my two very different chapters at the U of O, which I will share with you now, but please keep in mind that you're getting all this advice from a guy whose first paid job in my chosen profession was as a singing bumblebee. Firstly, and maybe obviously, stick your neck out. Start your journey. Take some steps to put yourself at risk. In my second chapter at the University of Oregon, that meant quite literally acting. Taking the terrifying to me risk of walking out on stage knowing that I might not be good, that in fact I might be awful, but deciding to do it anyway. In my first chapter at the University of Oregon, that meant scootering over to Best Buy and bravely attempting to purchase a PlayStation with a credit card that I'm pretty sure was from a board game. Then, as you begin your journey, test your limits. Discover what you're capable of. Find your best self in the crucible of attempting things that you're genuinely unsure you can pull off. In my second chapter, that meant waking up early, studying hard, and mustering up the courage, or trying to be honest in front of an audience. In my first chapter, that meant bravely asking the questions, can I drink a milkshake through this beer bong? Can I ride my scooter down this flight of stairs? Answers, kind of, and kind of. In the midst of your adventure, you'll get signs that tell you that you're in the right place. You're in the groove. You're midstream. In the second chapter, that was a feeling of connection to myself, my imagination, to the people around me, and to the larger universe. A sense that I somehow had more energy even though I was busier than I had ever been. In the first chapter, that sign was a Scooby-Doo marathon starting just as a Flintstones marathon had ended. I was in the groove. I was meant to watch 29 hours of television in one sitting despite the vocal concern of my roommates. They couldn't stop me from living my purpose. That's not to say you won't face unexpected challenges. In the second chapter, that meant stage fright and endless amounts of self-doubt. In the first chapter, it was the devastating realization that despite having attended a full 45 minutes of one physics class that semester, my theory that there should definitely be weed in these couch cushions somewhere was flawed. Those of you graduating today and your parents and family have overcome a tremendous challenge already, having your groove of college disrupted by the pandemic. While I can't possibly know the unique challenges each of you have faced during this time, completing your degrees during the danger and stress and fear we have all endured is an amazing accomplishment, and I hope that you see it as proof that you can face any of life's challenges, as I did when I eventually found the weed in the other couch. The most important part of your adventure is taking all that you've learned and created on your journey, bringing it back and sharing it with your community. This can be terrifying. You've stuck your neck out, tested your limits, overcome challenges, but will anyone benefit from what you've learned or created? Can there be hope that this will be a gift to someone, that it will help someone? In my second chapter, this meant my actual performance in a real play, suspending my fundamental embarrassment and secret fear of being a fraud to present an earnest attempt at human truth that I had actually put hard work into. In my first chapter, it was giving my Cheeto dust art to my grandmother on her birthday. To quote my brother, "This is not a gift, and it does not help anyone." And yet, it too was an honest, orange portrayal of human truth. What I'm saying is, sharing your gifts is scary, but you have to do it. The point of anybody going on an adventure is bringing good back to the world, whether you're an artist or an educator or a business person or the pizza delivery guy with whom I became quite close to during my first chapter at the U of O. My father wasn't an unhappy person, but his not answering the call to being an artist weighed on him and left a wound that never really healed. Because of that, as I mentioned, he suggested that I try acting, something that had a very small percentage of material success. And that told me everything I needed to know about what was truly important. So here's the thing I think I'd most like for you to remember, other than the image of me singing in a giant bee costume. You don't have to succeed at your adventure. I know that may sound odd, but even if you don't achieve the outward trappings of success, which in my experience has much more to do with good luck than anything else, just going for it with everything you have seems to bring a fundamental contentment and seems to set you on the right path wherever it may take you. I was genuinely surprised to find that success doesn't have much impact on my happiness. I was just as happy when I was semi-employed and failing at 3 or 4 auditions a week in New York City as I am now. It would seem that the recipe for unhappiness is when you deny what your best self is craving, what your deepest self really wants to do or try. And as long as you don't deny the call to your adventure, or adventures I should say, as there will be several, based on what I see in my friends and my family around me, everything does seem to be okay. You are graduating into a very different world than I did. You're graduating into a very different world than the class of 2019 did. The truth is, none of us know what real success will look like in this new world, but that's okay. Just answer the call despite your fears, and you'll be right where you're supposed to be. I wish you all great good fortune on your adventures, and again, I really recommend getting an astronaut next time. Go Ducks!